What's up, yo? It's your boy Joe Faye, back on the track. Today, we are doing a game review of a video game called Logos that was just recently released. It's 100% free. It lets you play through various Bible stories like Noah, Moses' creation. And so we're gonna check out this game and we're gonna talk about, like, is it garbage? Is it good? We're gonna check it out, so stay tuned. But before we start the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like now. Do it now. I'm waiting. I can't start the video until you subscribe, bro. Like, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe. Okay, you hit the subscribe button. Good. For those of you who didn't, forget you. Alright, so from the get-go, the first thing that you notice about this game, of course, is the logo, which is literally the word logos. Bro, that's like you write a book and you name it book. That's like shooting a movie and you call it movie. Wait, hold up. I got one even better than that. Dada. Dada.
Oh my goodness! You're so cute! I name you Son!
For all of you Greek scholars, which probably are not watching this video at all, but in case you are, I know logos is Greek for word, but in all honesty, the logo is pretty hot. If the rest, But in all honesty, the logo in this game, are you done? But in all honesty, the logo in this game is actually pretty decent. So looking at this game, I can definitely tell it's not state-of-the-art visuals. It looks almost more like a PS2, PS3 kind of mashup level graphics. But in the game, they referenced industry standard games like Assassin's Creed, Red Dead Redemption, Shadow of the Colossus as inspirations. And so I was like, you know, if they're using industry standard games like that as inspirations, maybe we're on to something. So I decided to give it a chance. I downloaded it. So the first section of the game is Genesis. So you actually are playing through the creation of the world. There's not a lot of gameplay in this first section. You're mainly just mashing key combinations, but it's really cool. It's got some good visuals. The graphics are actually really decent. The music is pleasing. I actually enjoyed the first section of the game, except when I started playing it, I realized the whole game is subtitled in Spanish.
No sé que nos quieran invadir de nuevo. Ya sabes cómo se ponen esos bárbaros.
I had no idea what was going on. It was asking me questions like yes, no. I was like, I don't even know what you're asking. I played through like the first 2 chapters of this game before they released the English version. So I enjoyed playing through the first part of the game until I got to the part when all of a sudden, a naked man. Now, this is a topic that generates a lot of controversy, so I want to spend a minute or two talking about it. People wondering whether Bible stories should graphically depict nudity in the story of creation, because obviously Adam and Eve were naked. This game has female and male nudity inside of it. That was only rated for suggestive themes by ESRB, but it's still, to me, it's still nudity just the same. Now, people have a lot of opinions, so I'm going to give you mine. So basically, in any game, I will fight for the right for the developer to graphically portray violence. The developers of this game on their website, they said they weren't going to try to hide the graphic violence that's in the Bible, and I support that. The Bible's a very graphically violent book. To me, there's no sin in seeing graphic violence. There's a place for that sometimes. Think Passion of the Christ. It had a place for the graphic violence that was in it. Any developer, I will fight for the right to graphically portray violence, but I don't think that there's a place for graphic nudity inside of any game. You can graphically see violence, and I don't see any sin in that. The Bible doesn't say don't see violent stuff, because obviously then what about people who go to war? They see graphic violence all the time. But the Bible does condemn nudity many times, and so I don't think inside of Christian media there's any place for nudity inside of games, movies, and so forth, because that's not something to me that you can see without sinning. To me, viewing nudity is a sin. The truth is, if you think you should be able to graphically portray nudity, then guess what? You have to graphically portray the Levite and his concubine in Benjamite territory, if you know that story. Lot and his daughters in the mountains, if you know that story. Amnon and his sister, if you know that story. I mean, you gotta draw the line somewhere where it's too graphic. And for me, I just draw it with nudity, period. You're free to your own opinion. That's mine. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Now, a lot of people ask, how do you portray Adam and Eve then? There's a lot of ways that people have managed to portray it through history. If you're creative enough, you can find a way. You can show Adam from the waist up and Eve from the shoulders up. Do it however you want to do it. But there are ways to portray Bible stories without having to portray graphic nudity. Bruh, he's sticking his own staff through his head.
Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Invite a psycho killer inside.
Stick your own stick through your head. So anyway, let's talk about the next section, which is Noah. But unfortunately, Noah is when the game goes way downhill. Before I get deeper into the review, I do want to say, for the developers playing this game, I can see they put a lot of work into this. So the last thing I want to do with anything I say is discourage the developers in any way. If I'm not mistaken, they put in like 3 years of work into it. And so I can tell this is an amazing project. They put in so much work, and I want to recognize them for that. I think that what they did is memorable. So with anything I say, do not be discouraged. Do not stop chasing your game development dreams. I'm that honest YouTuber that says what's on my mind, but I try to say it sensitively. I am a nice YouTuber. Yo, I'm so nice that I'm even going to be nice to this hater on my video. Now the first thing is the graphics unfortunately went downhill inside of this section. There is a lot of low poly 3D art inside of this game, which I thought maybe was going to give it a cool retro feel, but one thing that really puts it off is there's an inconsistency in the art level in this game. You have some sections of the game that actually have higher poly models, which I think were likely probably just assets that they downloaded and put in this game. So some parts of the game though, you have a low poly model standing right next to a high poly model, which gives it an inconsistent art style. And a lot of the art is just, it's not visually bad necessarily, it's just not visually pleasing. And some of the texturing in the game also, it's just the same. It's not really bad, but it still feels kind of off, especially like some of the ground texturing. The movement inside of this game, the character controls are mostly decent. The main thing that got me was when you jump inside this game, you can barely jump forward, and that always kind of puts me off when I play a game. That would be my main criticism of the controls. The combat, I think, does need some revamping. It's hard to freely move and fight at the same time. I did have a lot of fun playing this game. I don't think this was supposed to be part of the gameplay, but I added to the gameplay experience by going through towns and punching everybody inside of it and then making them follow me. That's how I get enjoyment from my games. The gameplay itself was, to me, lacking throughout most of it. Especially the Moses section. A lot of the Moses section of the game was running back and forth and talking to people, which to me doesn't have a lot of gameplay value. Now, as far as the story itself, I do find the story very interesting. It is fictionalized. I typically don't like people who fictionalize Bible stories. So the story for Noah, Moses is fairly accurate to what happens. Noah is the one that's more fictionalized. What happens is basically there are these creatures called Nephilim, which are roaming throughout the land, and these Nephilim are basically the offspring when demons breed with humans. And so there have been a lot of people who have speculated, did that actually happen? Is that what the Bible means when it says sons of God? I'm not going to bore you with technical details, but it does provide an interesting touch. It's just, I'm always skeptical of stories that add their own storyline to Bible stories. It was cool if you view it as something other than what the actual text of the Bible says. So the Nephilim 3D models are actually some of the best models in the game, but unfortunately, I just thought they were ugly, and they were almost nude too. You might think, well, ugly is not necessarily a bad thing, but in games, to me, there's ugly that's so ugly it's good, like horror games, and then there's ugly that's just ugly. One part of the game, I killed a Nephilim and I managed to glitch out the game. He partially fell through a house and his fist landed on my grandfather. Now this game has fully voiced dialogue. I will give it that. That's a very cool touch. If you look at the game also, it has animated dialogue. So the character's mouths actually move. It's not AAA quality animated dialogue, but I will give it the credit. They put in a lot of work for that, I'm sure. And it's actually an impressive touch. Now you gotta love the grandpa's voice in this game though. I'm gonna give you a little section.
Lo sé, La calamidad viene más pronto que...
The music in this game is actually really good. I think it fits well with what's going on. In one section of Moses, the Israelites started singing, and I'm guessing this is just music they downloaded from somewhere, but the singing was actually beautiful. Now, I will also give the game credit. There is a sequence in the game where Satan sends out this giant rock monster, which, by the way, has an insanely cool design. The best design model in the game. Again, I think it was probably an asset they downloaded, but it's still cool. And he's going to destroy the ark, and you have to go stop him. This creature is what makes me think, I wonder if they actually got some of the reference for their game from the 2014 film Noah. But this is a really cool section. You're chasing down this giant creature. It gets kind of old because, well, at least for me, because I don't think I knew how I was supposed to fight him. I just kept shooting arrows. But this was a really cool sequence. Unfortunately, it ended in a death scene, which I think is one of the... I don't know what the word is. I'm just gonna show you the death scene.
¡Monstruo! ¡No des un paso más! El señor Noah hizo esta arca con mucho esfuerzo.
Oh yeah, did I also mention that this game has cussing? If you watch any of my videos, you know cussing is an automatic turn off for me, yeah. Oh yeah, but the best part of the game, you gotta love Pharaoh's design. Alright, hold up. Alright, we're gonna check this out. You ready for it? You ready? Ready? Alright, here we go. I don't know who designed that. So all in all, my final thoughts on the game, I think that this game is definitely worth some recognition, but I don't think it has a lot of gameplay value. Now, my overall takeaway and what I have to say about the game depends on how I view it. If I view it as, to me it kind of strikes as, you know, like some college kid's gameplay project while he's learning game design, if I view it like that, then this is an amazing game and it's a great effort and I think it deserves a lot of recognition. If I hold it up to AAA commercial games, unfortunately, it's very lacking and it does need a lot of development. I understand it's still got a lot to be improved and it's probably still technically early in development, and so I don't want to be too hard on it. But mainly what pushed me away from it as far as a moral level was there was significant amount of profanity in it and there is nudity in the game, which those are turn-offs for me. And so I'm curious to see what you guys think about it. Again, I think they put in a great effort, so I wanted to give them a little bit of attention. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, well, then you enjoyed it. What is that supposed to mean? Alright, later guys, have a good day.